Hello, horror fan friends, and welcome. My name is Crystal, and today we're going to be talking about two films, Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2. With spoilers this time, so proceed with caution if you haven't seen these films yet. So the reason I wanted to revisit these films is because we got some news that there will be another Insidious film, and it will be a direct sequel to the two films that we're going to talk about today. It is reported that Insidious 5 will once again follow the Lambert family 10 years later, and it's going to hit theaters July 7th of next year, with Patrick Wilson also returning to play the role of Josh, and he's also the director. And this will be his directorial debut. And he told Variety, "I'm honored and thrilled to be at the helm of the next Insidious installment, which will provide an amazing chance to unpack everything the Lamberts went through a decade ago, as well as deal with the consequences of their choices. Directing the movie is both professionally and personally a full circle moment for me, and I'm extremely grateful to be entrusted in continuing to tell this frightening and haunting story. Into the further we go." The story was written by Scott Teems, who was also in involvement with Halloween Kills. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be telling you about the films, a little refresher, if you will, if you haven't seen them in a while, and also my predictions for Insidious 5, so make sure you stay until the end. Timestamps are on the bottom if you want to skip around a little bit. Don't worry, I won't be offended. Alright, so starting off with the OG Insidious. I actually saw this film when it first hit theaters, and it scared me. It was released back in 2010, and it follows the family looking to prevent evil spirits from trapping their comatose child in a realm called the Further. It was directed by James Wan and written by Lee Winnell, and it of course stars Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, and Lynn Shaw. I mean, right from the jump, we get this crazy violin music. And fun fact, it took 33 violins to create this sound. And the director, James Wan, also said, "We want a lot of the scare sequences to play really silent. But what I like to do with the soundtrack is set you on edge with a really loud sort of like a tonal scratchy violin sound mixing with some really weird piano bangs, and take that away and all of a sudden you're like, what just happened there?" And then of course the camera work alone is terrifying, with these sharp jumps and sharp turns. Remember, this film came out in 2012, so that was like 12 years ago. So it's no surprise that the film scared me and a lot of other people. The film also had those really classic scary key elements, like hearing things walking around at night, unknown knocking, things moving around, doors opening and closing, of course ghosts, baby monitors, and of course the unknown exploration of astral projecting. Dalton, the son, was essentially trapped in a nightmare for months and months, while he was stuck in the Further, which is a realm filled with the tortured souls of the dead, and it is not meant for the living. Insidious also captured what people would do if their child didn't wake up. First, they would seek medical help, then they would move their house after they thought it was haunted, and then seek spiritual help from a priest, and then of course, Elise. They learn that this demon is so desperate to possess Dalton with one goal: to cause pain to others. There are just so many iconic and very scary scenes in this film as well. And we got 6 different ghosts from the film as well. The 2 doll girls, the long-haired fiend, lipstick-faced demon, contortionist, and of course, the bride in black, which is the most popular. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because I always am. The first time I watched this film, I thought it got a little bit cheesy when we saw like where the lipstick demon lived in that like weird fortress in the Further. But when I watched it back for this video, older and more attuned to horror, the lipstick demon is essentially what Dalton was afraid of. So when I think about the lipstick demon from a child's perspective, it makes a lot more sense. This would terrify me if I was Dalton's age. And then of course we got the ending, which was kind of annoying, but in a good way, because we were left wondering if Josh was okay. So with that being said, let's move into Insidious Chapter 2. I saw this one in theaters as well when it came out in 2013. We follow the Lamberts again, who believe that they have defeated the spirits that have haunted their family, but they soon discover that evil is not beaten so easily. It was directed by James Wan again, and the screenplay written by Winnell. It of course stars Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, and Lynn Shaw. Of course in this film we got the very spine-chilling violins again, but this film we get a little bit of a prequel. We go back to when Josh was younger and he was haunted by something from the Further, the bride in black. And of course we get the aftermath of what happened in the last film. So we kind of know that Josh is possessed, especially by the way that he is treating his family and also by the way that he looks physically. What's also interesting interesting about this film is that we also learn more of where this astral projecting came from, more so on Josh's side, because his mother mentioned in the last film that she could do it as well. It was a really quick scene, so you might have missed it. And of course, there's still the idea of bringing something back from the further with you when you come back to reality. Where some people might not have liked this sort of inception thing that was happening in the film, I actually really liked it. I liked we learned that the further had really no sense of time. So when Josh's face was in the window in the baby's room, it made sense. My one comment about this film is that I feel like Patrick Wilson's character Josh leaned a little bit too much into the Jack Torrance and like The Shining, especially with the baseball bat. I also didn't mind the backstory of the Bride in Black. It made sense considering a man actually played the original Bride in Black in the first Insidious film. And it's really no surprise that now Dalton has to go back into the further to save his father this time. And then of course the film ends and everybody's happy again. Alright, so let's move on to my predictions. So we can expect that the new Insidious film probably have a lot of pointing, cabinets, dark spaces, the violins, red doors, a lot of sudden camera movements. But as far as the story is concerned, I have some ideas. So as I said in the beginning of the film, Insidious 5 is going to follow the Lambert family 10 years later, with Dalton attending college. My first theory is that Dalton's going to have some anxieties about going to college, as any kid would, moving away from his family, new environment, and these anxieties will lead him to absent-mindedly travel back to the further. What I think is going to happen is he's going to be able to go into the further, but he's going to be able to get back out because of the experiences that he had from when he was a child. But each time that he goes to sleep, it gets harder and harder to get out of the further. And of course, it's going to spill into his reality, as it did in the first two films. And then Josh, his father, is going to have to go back in and save him again. My second theory is that Josh is going to want to explore the further a little bit more, see how it works, see how to maybe essentially defeat it. His curiosity will get the better of him, even though his family warns him against doing it. Now, the only confirmed characters we have for this film is Patrick Wilson, of course, and Ty Simpkins. So I'm curious as to where the other family members are going to be, because remember, we have Rose Byrne playing his wife, and we also have Dalton's siblings, his brother and his sister. Where are they? Are Josh and Renee divorced? What? I'm filming a video here. Well, what is it? Oh, so we do have some news. So I was just told that Rose Byrne is actually returning to play the role of Renee. And I was also just told that Josh heads east to drop his son Dalton off at college. However, Dalton's college dream becomes a nightmare when the repressed demons of his past suddenly return to haunt them both. Interesting. So maybe my theories kind of sort of fit into that nicely. Okay, so let's move on to my last theory that's very far-fetched, but I want to share it with you anyway. This theory is that Dalton and Josh are going to have to team up to help someone that Dalton meets in college, because Dalton's new friend is going to be stuck in the further. Let's say that Dalton meets maybe a girl or a boy in one of his classes, and they hit it off, and they both realize that they can astral project. But then one day he goes to class and his friend is not there. The chair is empty, and Dalton plays detective and finds out that his friend's family came and got them because the friend's roommate said that they wouldn't wake up. As I said, this one may be a little bit of a stretch and doesn't really fit into the new information that we got, but it could work. Let me know in the comments what some of your predictions and theories are, and what you think about mine. Also, let me know in the comments if there's any films that you want me to cover with spoilers or no spoilers. Alright friends, that's gonna be it for me end of this video. If you like these kinds of videos, I have an entire playlist dedicated to horror movie reviews in the description box below, and there's probably something else floating around here somewhere as well. Thanks so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. And you can follow me on my social medias if you want. Links are in the description below. And I'll see you guys soon. And stay cool out there. It's really fucking hot out. Bye.